Hello and welcome to Rock Your Block. I am your host, Tia Young, and today we are going to learn another form of Tai Chi through the open palm system. Our special guest has been involved in martial arts since 1982. He is a 7th degree black belt and teaches his students a discipline known as the open palm martial arts system. Please welcome Master Instructor Terri Lee Ryan, owner of the Open Palm System of Martial Arts in Fairfax County, Virginia. Terri Lee,
great to be here.
So good to have you back.
Great to be here.
Good, good. How is my friend Jennifer?
Jennifer is doing great.
That's good.
Very enthusiastic about everything right now.
Okay,
Very
all right.
enthusiastic.
Well, let's get started.
Yes.
Now, you have been a student of martial arts since 1982. How did you get into that, and why did you get into that?
Sure, and it's a great story. I'm going to give you the shorter version of this,
okay.
But I was in Baton Rouge back in 1982, and I was playing music in Baton Rouge, and they actually had a fellow there by the name of Terri Tullis. He was a trumpet player, and he was doing martial arts already. I wasn't, and he said there was a demonstration that was going on that particular night, and wanted me to go along, and I said, well, I'm not really into martial arts too much. And he said, why don't you just come along for the demonstration? So I ended up going there, and as soon as I walked in the location, there was a great feel. There's something about the room that I really loved, about a martial arts dojo. Wow. So it was great. So I sat there, and the demonstration started. And the main instructor there asked if anybody would like to be part of the demonstration. And Terri Tullis grabbed my hand and put my hand up. And I was in the demonstration. And as soon as I took my shoes off and put my feet on, as soon as I put my feet on that mat, I knew I had it. I had to do this. And from that moment on, that was the way.
Prior to that time, you had no thoughts about?
No thoughts at all.
Isn't that
no
something?
Thoughts.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was a great feeling.
Now, you teach your classes from the Black Belt Academy, and where is this academy located?
It is located in Fairfax in University Mall. And let me tell you what, it is a great location. The instructors there are phenomenal. The students there are phenomenal. I started somewhere about a year and a half ago with the school. And I teach self-defense in the system, along with the Tai Chi and everything else.
Right.
But I'm really enjoying it at that location, really am.
Well, you actually brought a video of the school, so
yes.
Tell us a little bit about this video.
Sure. Well, what's going on with the video is we filmed this recently, and what I want to do was get a taste of everything. So they had, for instance, somebody, of course you're going to see in the footage, doing some forms, katas. You're going to see them doing some spear or staff forms.
Okay.
You're going to see a lot of different styles. You're going to see me doing some sword. I do sword forms also.
Wow.
And there's
that's a part of Tai Chi?
That's a part of martial arts.
Oh, just martial arts.
Martial
okay.
arts.
Okay.
And that's the best thing about this location. They incorporate everything into the style, the system. So they have not just Taekwondo, they have the Hapkido, they have the Jiu-Jitsu, they have the Judo, they have the throws, they have the weapons, they have the Tai Chi, they have the Qi Kung, they have all these things in one, which really makes it a special location for me, really does.
Now I have to say, this is called a gi, is that
this
right?
is the gi.
A gi, it's beautiful. Tell us
Thank you.
a little bit about the history of that.
This was kind of handed down to me back in New Orleans from another instructor. And it represents for me, gis or Kung Fu chops or Tai Chi chops represent like somebody hands something down to you as years go on, and so this is just for you. It's very special. It's very special.
Yes.
But this particular top here I've been having forever.
Is it handmade?
I shouldn't ask too many questions. He didn't tell me, but
it's beautiful.
I'm going to go with that.
So detailed.
It really is. It really, for the Tai Chi and the Qi Kung, I tend to wear this a lot.
Okay. All right, good. Now, you hold a 7th degree black belt in martial arts. And the title to me sounds impressive because I don't know a lot, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about it, and I'm really glad you're here today so you can kind of help school me on some things.
Sure.
But what does that mean, and how many degrees are there?
Sure. You know, there's a lot of different styles and a lot of different degrees in the world. 10th degree, 11th degree, that's out there. For me, it's a matter of sometimes looks at years. So if a person is a first degree black belt, it may take a year to get that next degree. It may take 2 years. To get your third, it may take 3 years. To get your fourth, it may take 4 years. So it just depends on the system that you're in. I've been doing it forever. And my degrees, of course, I have a black belt in Taekwondo. I have a black belt in Kuk Soon. I have a black belt, of course, in Hapkido. I have a black belt in open palm system. So all these black belts, of course, represent the time that I've really put into the systems. You know?
So how long did it take you to get all? I mean, are you talking 10 or 15 years?
Probably about 110 years.
110
and yeah, just it's my second lifetime going through this. It took a long time. It took a long time. Back when I first started in '82, I guess the first belt I got was in Taekwondo. So it took me a little time to actually to achieve that, and it was well worth it, because I think it was just kind of stepping stones to the next level of where I was going. You know.
So in addition to the movements, and they are very beautiful movements, is there a mental part that goes with the martial arts?
Well, this is good too. Yeah. In every style, there is a mentality that you really have to adapt into your lifestyle. So, for instance, if I'm doing Taekwondo and I'm getting ready to break a board or break a brick, whatever I'm going to break, instead of just using the physical aspect of it, instead of just saying, I'm going to use my physical 100% to break this, you tend to hurt things when you do that. And so what we do is we take mind over matter. So we start taking the 50% physical and 50% mental. And that way, a lot of strength, especially when you have to endure things. And through life, it's the same way. I think if we take things, for instance, one of my first breaks that I did, I was breaking 5 bricks to start off.
That was your first
one of my first breaks, that I had back in the day. And to break the bricks, I remember, because I went to go using a hammer fist, and I went to go break it, and my fist just stopped, and it just hurt because I was going completely physical.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't. And when I say by the mind, we want to look past the point. So if I know I'm breaking 5 bricks, which is someplace around that, if I'm breaking 5 bricks, I have to see those bricks being broken in my mind. So I have to actually contemplate that in my brain. And once that happens in the mind, then the body accepts it. And your body can do a lot more. So when I'm teaching classes, I'm always saying breath, brain, body. And that is kind of the
brain, and body.
Breath, brain, and body. The breath, of course, we need the breath. Without the breath.
So I'm going back to, you start out not breaking 1 brick, but 5 bricks?
This is my own doing. This is my own doing.
Oh, okay.
And because I felt that since I had, at that point, since I had a nice high, I think I went from a white belt to an orange belt. So since I was an orange belt, I felt I could break anything.
What's in between, white to orange?
So there's white, yellow, orange, green, blue, red, brown, black.
Right, so you skipped a whole...
I was only to a second level, a third level of that belt.
Wow.
And I felt that I could do anything. So when I went to go break those bricks, I thought I had it. And then all of a sudden, the bricks told me different. So it was a great lesson for me, because it takes the mind and the body and the breath to work together.
So how long did it take you to recover from the...
You know, the next time I did it, of course, I taped up my hand.
Of course.
And the next day I went out there and tried it again. Yeah, I was very, defined to do it. I was going to make sure I was going to break the bricks. And eventually, after about a month, I broke the 5 bricks.
Well, you brought another tape that talks about, that reflects the students and some of the things that you're doing. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Now, was this the martial art in the school? Right.
Inside the school, yes.
So when we're doing the martial arts in the school, it's great. First off, we have all different age levels in that location. So it's great to see somebody who's 12 years old, ranging all the way to 45, 50 years old in that location. And you can really see the difference. My belief is, of course, the time you put into something is gonna make everything, you know, a little smoother, a little more detailed. When you first start off, you know, we want to break 5 bricks, right? But when you first start off, it's the beginner level, and what we tend to call that, I call that the print of martial arts. When you get a little bit better, you get into the script of martial arts. So you have the print and the script. And so that's the way it's kind of broken down for a lot of the students who are beginning, you know.
So the beginners are all together no matter what age or level, you're not breaking them out into
Well, the
different-
reason why that happens is because if you ever get into an altercation on the street, it's not going to be a 12-year-old against
That's
a 12-year-old.
True. That's true.
It could be, you know, somebody who just tends to come up to you and grab you, you
Right.
know.
That could be, that's true, that is true. Let's see, we have a couple of minutes before the break. I want, am I correct in saying that you actually founded the open palm system, or did you just perfect it?
Well, that's great. Yeah, I actually, there's a young gentleman, a few years older than me, but he was my instructor. His name was Ken Duncan. And a very, very, oh my goodness, one of the best in the world. And he's the one who taught me a lot of the martial arts through the open palm system. He came from California, and he just started the open palm system. Just started. And we joined together in the 90s. And as we joined together, very graciously, he handed the system over to me.
Wow.
Handed it over to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, what am I supposed to do? He said, it's yours, you run with it, you know. Very, very gracious to him forever.
That speaks a lot about you.
Well,
and how you had impressed them, because you were still, is this still in the 80s? Or
this is
you
the early
advanced?
90s. Yeah, this is the early
90s.
90s. So, you know,
Wow.
I just had a few belts on me at the time.
So what actually is open palm? So
Great,
when
great.
I think of that, I think of
Right.
like that, but I don't know if that's right.
Well, you notice, I mean, whenever we talk about open palm system, and you know, when somebody says, I'm going to mess with you for a second, but if we say high five, if I do a high five, right, we don't tap our elbows, right? We tap our palms.
Yeah.
When we go up to somebody and say, how are you doing? How are you feeling? We use our palms.
That's true.
The palms are very, very, I mean, if we think about the energy that's contained in our palms, because our minds and our energy goes into the palms. Well, strangely, as it's called, we have chi in our body. And the open palm system was basically started off with the understanding, instead of using your fist and breaking your knuckles, use the palm, right? And so if I use my palm to strike, I can actually grab afterwards. So that's how the open palm system came together. And but I was very gracious to Ken Duncan. He's just a great martial artist, a great friend.
Yes. Well, what you just said has got me thinking. That's very, very interesting. We are going to take a short station break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
I'm a wife.
A sister.
And a grandfather.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a research analyst.
Dance fitness instructor.
Actor.
I'm a copywriter.
I'm a veteran.
I have lupus.
Cerebral palsy.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
I love
Because I was given a chance
To contribute my skills and talents.
To show that my disability
Is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters.
For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Welcome back to Rock Your Block. Our special guest is Terri Lee Ryan, owner of the Open Palm System of Martial Arts. Terri, before the break, we were beginning our discussion about open palm, and
Sure.
I just thought that was beautiful, the explanation
Yeah.
you gave about using the palms and how we use it for really kind of touchy-feely
Yeah,
things
yeah.
to get
Exactly.
an emotion over. What is different about the open palm system?
Sure. Well, let me talk about the styles that are in the system
Okay.
to begin.
Okay, good.
Because there's so many styles and elements. When Ken Duncan and myself came to put it all together, it was still at a start level. So it had a lot of things that had to kind of nourish out of the system. But we had, for instance, we had Kuk Silwan, which is a Korean art. Has a lot of self-defense, a lot of good kicks. It has Taekwondo in it.
Okay.
It has Judo. It has Hapkido. Hapkido is a good self-defense system also. It's got the, of course, Shaolin Kung Fu. It's got a lot of, when we talk about Shaolin Kung Fu, there's a lot of circular motion. So when we talk about Taekwondo and a lot of those styles have a linear system. So more of a straight block or a straight style that goes behind it. When we get into a Kung Fu system, it has more of a circular motion. So when you put those together, right, you have a linear and a circular, it becomes a very strong system because you're kind of having all of the worlds put into one style.
So, well then tell us about the actual, what you teach.
Sure.
When, let's say I'm a beginner.
Right,
and I'm coming in, take me through the process.
So in the beginner level for a white belt, of course, you have to have the fundamentals. And so earlier when I was talking about having the print of martial arts, that's how we start. So we have to start in a basic print method of understanding what a front kick may be. How do you do a front kick? And so to do a front kick, it has to be in stages. Bring the knee up, kick it out, bring it back, set it down, in the print version. It's same thing as if we're using the fist or we're using the palm. Instead of just having somebody go straight out and throw a palm out, most likely you're going to hurt your palm because all these bones that connect right here, right? If you have it on the wrong angle, it's going to really upset the wrist. It really will. So it has to be taught how to bring the palm the right way to turn it over to strike at the right angle. And so all these things are taught early on because once you start to get to the advanced movements, if you don't have the basics down, you're not going to move into the advance. Because you're just going to end up hurting yourself, body parts and muscles.
Right. Well, you have a video on the classes, so can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at?
Sure. So there's a lot of guys that are on the video, guys and girls, I should say. Let me explain first off, the head instructor at that location, his name is Master Yensi. I call him Yaya. That's his nickname. But he is a phenomenal instructor, and he graciously opened up his doors to what I do. Really became a really good friend. And all the instructors, there's a Master E that's in there. There's a lot of different instructors that really hold that school together. And they do a lot of different types of classes, starting from early afternoon all the way through the night. So it becomes a really, really good full class, so to speak.
Now, when you say all the way through the night, are you meaning past 9 o'clock?
somewhere past 9 o'clock. I don't want to go too far, but somewhere past 9 o'clock.
Well, what happens if you get, like, I'm going back to the beginners class, and you've got students there maybe who are not picking up as quickly as others, so is everybody going at the same level? And the ones that are more advanced, do they have to just kind of be kind and kind of wait for the others to catch up?
So there are different levels. Different levels. So if you're a white belt or a yellow belt, you're going to be in the earlier class.
Oh, you're going to separate.
Right.
Okay.
So earlier class, you might have an orange belt and a green belt class. You might have different ranks in different classes. The advanced class, so the black belt classes, will be a little bit later on.
Okay.
And we'll have a junior class for the younger adults, and then we'll have advanced for the older adults.
Well, that brings up another question. We've talked about, being young and being old. What is a good starting age to start? And then, what's too old? Is there anything that's too old once you get the arthritis and the rheumatism and all that?
To me, no. It's never too late. Now, if you're talking about breaking bricks at 90 years old, that may be a little bit out of the question. Yeah. But I think as early as 5 years old is a great starting age. To me, I start a little bit later in life, but I think a good age is maybe 5 or 6 years old, because in different countries, martial arts is part of their curriculum in school. As in the United States, it's not, Right. But I really feel the need to have that. I think it's a great respect factor as far as endurance and.
Well, is there any age that's too old? You see, I'm trying to see if I'm too old.
I see where you're going.
What I'm getting at. What is there an age that probably you just shouldn't?
You know what?
Try
No,
this?
no, there's no age. I like to leave it wide open because the age is just in the mind.
Okay. Well, let me ask this another way. How old is your oldest student?
I teach, of course, some Tai Chi students also. in martial arts also. And he's 83 years old. 83.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's
83.
pretty phenomenal. His name is Don Weber. Don Weber. And he's
And how long has he been a student?
He's only been a student with me for a short while. He actually got his black belt under me at the tender age.
He's got a black belt?
He's got a black belt. Now it's second degree.
Oh,
but
cool. That's very cool.
At 80 years old is when he got it with me. And
I would love to meet him.
he is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. He's been doing it with me for a good long time, and he's really understanding a lot of the martial arts. But he loves the defense.
Wow.
You
that's
know.
good. Well, you know, Terri, I know that you are a musician. I mean, you're a master musician.
Love it.
And I'm trying to figure out, you know, and you seem very committed to the martial arts, to the
Sure.
open palm Tai Chi. Is music a part of what you do? Are you able to bring that into
Sure.
this? Talk a little bit about that.
And that's a great question, because for me, God has blessed me with a lot of different areas, but the music and the martial arts, I call it my yin and my yang, because it's a
Yin
great
yang.
balance. Without one,
Yeah.
the other one doesn't really hold still. And the other one, you know, when you look at a yin and yang, it's a great balance.
Yeah.
If you have too much of yin, that the other one becomes unbalanced. Too much of yang,
Yeah.
right? So a good balance between both. For me, it's been great because, of course, in Tai Chi, the breathing method is so important. So when I learned how to breathe, it really helped my singing. You know, it really did. And then I got to the martial arts, and I was doing strenuous things on my body. It helped me out when I was moving equipment.
Right.
You know, of course, I could have been a bouncer one day,
Yeah.
but I decided to go a different route on that. But
Yeah.
it's been really good for me on both sides of the fence, so to speak, the yin and the yang.
And the yang,
You know,
right.
and the music and the martial arts.
Well, you brought us some videos that have music in it, and you know, with the movements. Can you?
Right.
I mean, is it natural? People just kind of move to the music, or are you teaching that too?
So it's all part of the martial arts in this day and time. The new style, the younger ones these days, when they go to a tournament, we have something called musical forms, musical katas. And all that is when they're doing their movements in performing, now they have music that goes against it. So you may have Beethoven, or you may have a certain style of music that you want to use for your form, whether it's a staff form that you're doing, or a nunchuck form, or a sword form, whatever you're doing. That music fits really well. And so a lot of the younger style martial arts today, they're using that a lot, you know.
I would think it would have a calming effect over the whole, you know, system.
For some of them, if you're doing the Tai Chi, it's great for the calming effect.
Right.
But if you're doing the martial arts with the fast forms, then we're getting into a fast music with a good fast rhythm behind it.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm wondering if the open palm system, and you mentioned this briefly earlier about breathing correctly. Can you talk about things like breathing correctly? What happens with the relaxation? Is it relaxing? The flexibility.
Sure.
If you can talk about some of those.
This is
parts.
great, and I love talking about this. Now we may have to have about 7 different shows to talk about this. I'm just saying, but it goes on because this is not something that I invented. This is something that's been around for thousands of years, and even longer. And if you look way back when you know, we started out in this world, breath is the first thing that you're going to have in this life. Breath is the first thing you're going to have. And without breath, nothing's going to happen. So you have to have breath. So to understand, first off, how important breath is, that's the first challenge. To understand the importance of breath, to understand what does breath feel like. Instead of just thinking, right, that's just, we're not acknowledging breath. So we have to acknowledge things in life. It's the same thing if I said, let's look at the beauty of a tree. You know, a beautiful flower. Let's just take a flower. And I said, look at that flower for a second, Tia, and you looked at it, for 2 seconds, and then you turn your head back the other way. You didn't catch the beauty, right? You didn't catch the significant part of this flower. You know, what it holds, how does it look, how does it feel, you know? And so breath is the same way. We have to acknowledge breath. We have to look at breath in a different form. So if I can breathe in, and instead of breathing into even though the breath does go into the chest, into the lungs, we have to look beyond. If I'm going to breathe into my body, I'm going to breathe into my whole body. So I have to imagine the breath going through my body. And so if I have an image of breath, and we can look at it a lot of different ways. If I said breath looks like a cotton ball about yay big, right? If I took that cotton ball and say, for instance, I had an ache on my arm was hurting, and I took that breath in, and I took that breath and thought about the breath and brought the breath in my meditation side, right? And kind of rubbed with that cotton ball on that elbow, eventually I would start internally helping that area.
Right. So would you say that things like breathing, relaxation, flexibility, endurance, coordination, all of these are things that can help us be healthier in our lives?
Yeah, without a
Would you
doubt.
say that?
And even at any age, I would love to just go out to the world right now and let people see how easy this is. How easy this is. It's not, it doesn't take a scientist to figure this out, but it just takes time.
Right.
It takes time.
Right.
You know.
Well, we have about a minute left. Can you just show us some palm moves?
Sure. Well, I'll show you some breathing techniques.
Okay.
And so if I was going to do a meditation, right, and I would basically have my hands just like this. And so the first test to understand Qi is to understand that, say for instance, this is yin and this is yang, right? I want to feel something in between those two areas. And so the deeper I breathe, the stronger that's going to be.
Wow.
So if I breathe in, I can feel something in between my palms if I start to really focus on the breath. And that's the first challenge.
That's the first challenge.
That's the first challenge.
Well, you're right. This is something that you're gonna have to come back.
Most definitely.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We hope that you have enjoyed our show today with special guest, Master Instructor Terri Lee Ryan of the Open Palm System Martial Arts in Fairfax, Virginia. If you have any questions about this system of martial arts, please contact Terri from the information scrolling on your television screen. Thank you for joining us on Rock Your Block, and we look forward to bringing you another great show. See you next week. Bye-bye.